What's good, Football Universe? It's your boy, Dro the Gooner, man. I'm coming at you guys with a review of the 2019 Copa America quarterfinal matchup between Colombia and Chile, man. First and foremost, man, I would like to give a special shout out to the boys at We Made It podcast, man. I love those guys. I love everything they do at We Made It. If you guys are looking for really good soccer analysis, if you're looking for the social commentary that comes with the beautiful game and the ugly side of the beautiful game, man, please check those guys out on iTunes, on YouTube. Follow them on Twitter. Follow them on Instagram. Again, that's We Made It podcast. You have to go check those guys out, man. Bam and my boy C's, man. Most definitely check those guys out. Well, man, let's get into this Copa America review. Game is 0-0, but it's not a boring-ass 0-0 like USA and Panama. This game was full of excitement. It's everything you expect or want out of a South American matchup. This is a fist fight on a pitch, but both literally and figurative, because we had a bust up on the pitch. But it's everything you love about South American soccer, especially when these two South American heavyweights go at it. Chile, two-time defending Copa America champion. Colombia has won a Copa America, but it was way back in 2001. But this is a new generation of players. I'm really excited to see how the second half is going to go. First and foremost, the match started off a little bit late. For some reason, Chile was late to the match. Maybe they forgot they had a Copa America match, or they fell asleep or something. But the match was delayed by a little bit. Both teams come out in a 4-3-3. Colombia's 4-3-3 was a little bit more fluid, a little bit more smoother, especially in the first half of the first half. Chile's 4-3-3 was a little bit more compact. Both teams come out aggressive. Colombia comes out super aggressive and oppressed as soon as Chile tried to play the ball out of the back. Colombia was right on top of them with a press. But it's almost like Colombia basically played into Chile's hands with their press, because it got to the point where Chile was literally inviting Colombia to press. They would literally pass the ball to the center back. Gary Medel will hold the ball, pass it to Isla, the right back, and invite the Colombia press, and then pass through them. And as soon as they got the ball to the other side of the pitch, to the attacking side of the pitch, Chile just really turned it on. They flipped the switch, and guys start flying. Beausejour starts overlapping Alexis Sanchez. Isla starts making his runs in the box. And Aranguiz is making his runs. Vargas is making his runs as well. Like I said, as soon as that ball gets to the offensive side of the pitch, Chile flip their switch on, and they come out of defensive mode, and the guys are flying. Also, Chile is counter-pressing, so they're not necessarily in a press themselves. They're waiting. If they turn the ball over in the offensive side of the pitch, they're pressing. They're on top of it, trying to get the ball back. If not, they drop back into their compact 4-3-3. A couple of shots on goal. There was a goal called back, ruled offsides by VAR. Aranguiz's goal was called back, man. Arturo Vidal played an excellent pass to Alexis Sanchez, and Beausejour overlaps. Alexis slips him through. Beausejour comes through with a low cross that comes off to me, it looks like it came off of Ospina's glove into Davison Sanchez's foot into the path of Aranguiz. But like I said, ruled offside because it was VAR called it back because it was ruled off. It was found that Alexis Sanchez was offsides. Like I say, real feisty and physical match. This is the type of match that I would want to introduce somebody who's never seen soccer or cared about soccer. I would want them to see this match, even though it's 0-0, just to see how physical it is, just to see how high tempo it is, just to see how the intensity and how literally South American players literally fight for every single inch on the pitch. A couple of more notes worth talking about. I mean, I was super duper impressed by Juan Cuadrado. He plays for Juventus. The guy is just up and down the pitch, putting in tackles. Just like I said, man, a really what you would expect out of a South American match. Every single player in every single position fighting for every single inch. Juan Cuadrado, I mean, he exemplifies that. The guy's just up and down the pitch, and the guy was most impressed by, and I've been impressed by this guy since I first ever discovered him. And you guys heard me talk about it in the Argentina and Colombia match review. It's Wilmer Barrios, man. Man, if if I looked up defensive midfielder in the encyclopedia, it'll be a picture of Wilmer Barrios, former Boca Juniors players, but he is currently playing for Zenit St. Petersburg in the Russian Premier League. Transfer market has him listed for 17 million euros. Hey, Arsenal, get this dude. I hate to get off the topic of the Copa America match, but I'm an Arsenal supporter at heart, man. You take Wilmer Barrios and you put him in the midfield next to Lucas Torreira, and you're talking about two pit bulls sitting in front of our back line. I dare any team to get through that. I honestly do. I'm saying it because the guy is literally all over the pitch, man. Not only is he tough defensively, not only is he tactically aware defensively at the right place at the right time. The guy has skill, man. A ball comes into the box and gets knocked out. Your boy Wilmer Barrios, instead of clearing it, man, he fakes a clearance, right? And then just slips it behind his back, completely just jukes the shit out of the Colombian player, and then plays the ball back upfield, man. This guy has skill. He has grit and toughness. He'll put in a tackle, and he's tactically and positionally aware. I love the guy. 17 million euros, me personally, it would be worth it to me. This is one of those players I think we should try to scoop up before somebody else does, and they'll scoop him up and we'll look like idiots. But back to the match. I was also impressed by Yeremina and Davison Sanchez. Even though Davison Sanchez plays for that shit club that wears blue in North London, and I will not mention the name, I was really impressed by both of those guys. A lot of people will describe them as big, tall, and physical, but you can be all those things, right? And that description can be correct, big, tall, and physical. But I always say, do you know how to use your physicality? Do you know how to use your size? Do you know how to use your athletic skill? And both of these guys do. As far as shielding guys from the ball, as far as cutting off passing lanes, dribbling out of trouble, and both guys are really excellent passers of the ball. On the Chilean side, I'm impressed with the tactical decision to invite the press. I think that's smart. It's super smart. But you have to have the right set of players that can pull it off, and that means every single player on your team can make a pass, and every single player on your team is comfortable on the ball, and guys are tactically aware and positionally aware to pay attention to what's going on around them on the pitch. Like I said, Chile is inviting the press in, allowing Colombia to press, and then just passing around them or passing through them. And for some reason, I'm trying to figure out why Colombia hasn't recognized that. I think they did towards the mid part of the first half. I think Colombia does recognize that. I think Carlos Queiroz tells Colombia to sit back. I think he calls those guys off because they start to drop back a little bit more. But then every once in a while, you can see that maybe passing out of the back, or once it gets to a certain player, I think that's what's triggering Colombia's press. But like I say, these guys are just literally passing around it, and I think it's because when Colombia, and the reason why I'm saying it's a triggered press is because it's the front three attackers of the 4-3-3 of Colombia that are chasing down the ball. It's not a complete and total team press because the three midfielders behind the three attackers of Colombia aren't closing down their passing lanes. That's why Chile are able to pass the ball to the center backs and get guys through and put in crosses. Like I said, this first half is feisty, it's physical, and I am super stoked and super excited for the second half of this match. I'm just praying to God that it doesn't end up on penalties and that this just becomes a shootout in the second half. I hope somebody scores, forcing the other team to step their game up and become more offensive. And we'll see what happens. I'll come back to you guys with my second half slash full match review. Thank you guys for listening. What's good, football universe, man? It's your boy Dro the Good, and I'm coming back to you guys with my second half match review of the 2019 Copa America quarterfinal matchup between Chile and Colombia. The game finished 5-4 after extra time on penalties. I don't know if you guys know this, but in Copa America, they do not go to extra time. After 90 minutes, you go directly into penalties, and it finished 5-4 on penalties to Chile. Penalties taken the penalty takers for Colombia were James Rodriguez, Edwin Cardona, Juan Cuadrado, Yeti Mina, and Tecillo, the left back. The left back Tecillo missed his penalty. All five penalty takers for Chile made their penalties, which were Arturo Vidal, Vargas, Polgar, Aranguiz, and former Arsenal player, now Manchester United bench warmer, Alexis Sanchez. A round of applause tactically to Chile. This game finished 0-0, but by far it was not a boring match. You can completely and totally see what both teams were trying to do tactically, and it was very interesting watching that chess match tactically. And all credit to Chile for just playing a wonderful match tactically. And I say it was a wonderful match tactically because they turned this beautiful game into a backyard, low-down, dirty prison fight. And they won that low-down, dirty prison fight. I mean, I don't know if you guys watch boxing, but I compare it to boxing. When you have a skilled boxer that gets drawn into a slugfest or a street fight with a street fighter because he can't outbox a boxer. He's going to lull him and bring him into a street fight. And that's exactly what Chile did, man. They brought him into a street fight. And while that street fight was going on, somebody picked up a beer bottle, broke it in half, and the sharp end of that was Arturo Vidal. Arturo Vidal, man, was I have to give him man of the match. He was completely, totally everywhere defensively on the pitch, putting in tackles all over the pitch, spraying passes all over the pitch. I'm going to be completely, totally honest with you. I think Arturo Vidal is the most complete midfielder in the world. And I think it was a mistake for Bayern Munich for getting rid of him and selling him to Barcelona. And I think it's a mistake for Barcelona to not allow Arturo Vidal to be Arturo Vidal. Please, you can't turn him into Sergi Busquets. In my opinion, if I was the head coach of Barcelona, I would bench Sergi Busquets, only use him for Copa del Rey matches and a couple of La Liga matches against the lower end of La Liga. But Champions League, I'm going with Vidal. He's gluing, cement his name, write his name, and I wouldn't change him out for the world. But back to this match at hand. Colombia comes out trying to impose their will back on the game. You know, they're trying to get a fire started, but that fire was quickly smothered out by Chile. Chile was back to their counter pressing. If the ball was being played, if they turned the ball over quickly, they were on the counter press. If they couldn't counter press and create a turnover quickly, they dropped back defensively, and that frustrated the hell out of Colombia. You can see it from the players. For example, James Rodriguez, he absolutely went completely and totally missing in the second half. Had no idea where the guy was. Falcao went missing. Even Super Magic sub man Duvan Zapata comes on, and he's not able to do what he is good at. He plays for Atalanta. He's quick. He's big, strong. He's fast. He can get in between center backs, and he wasn't allowed to do that. Chile did a great job of, like I said, dropping back defensively. But also I'm going to point the finger and kind of blame Colombia themselves because they didn't do anything to counter that. They didn't try to get the ball wide and cross the ball into Duvan Zapata. Duvan Zapata is not a small guy, and he's going against Gary Medel, a former midfielder, now center back. That dude's literally like 5'8". And I know Duvan Zapata is at least 6 feet. There were no crosses put in to him for any headers. They literally kept trying to play the ball in, kept trying to work the little magical 1-2s and trying to play through Chile, which is something you absolutely cannot do. It was literally trying to throw an egg through a brick wall. That wasn't happening. at all from Colombia. I take everything back I said about Davis Sanchez and Yeti Mina. Um, those guys are like they have all of the physical tools to be the greatest international center back pairing, but they are too individualistic in their thinking to make themselves work. And I'm not sure if it's Yeti Mina's immaturity or if it's Davison Sanchez trying to overcompensate for Yerry Mina's immaturity, because Yerry Mina has the quickness, he has the height, he has the size. Davison Sanchez has the game awareness, the speed, the ability to close off pass lanes, and I think that they are somewhat. I'm gonna take that back. I think it's going to take Yerry Mina's maturing, especially on the international level, in order for them to become a great international center back pairing. But like I said, a lot of just goofiness from those two guys. There was a part in the first half where a ball gets played into the box, and the ball literally just it's chipped into the box. By I take that back. It's a free kick by Adam Geese, and it's played into the box. But for some reason, the ball lands directly in between Davis Sanchez and Yeti Mina at the feet. If it wasn't for David Ospina coming out and collecting that ball, it would have landed at Vargas' feet, and he would literally, all he had to do was blow the ball like he was blowing out a candle, and would have rolled into the line. I'm like, how did you two guys, big, tall, physical center backs, lose Vargas in your defensive assignments? Either lack of communications or immaturity could have played a role in that. I'm not entirely sure. Back to the broken glass bottle shank that is also known as Arturo Vidal. Man, like I said, the guy was all over the pitch, man of the match, putting in tackles, spraying passes left and right. Even had a chance on goal. In the, I believe it's the 71st minute. A ball is played into the box. I'm sorry. The ball is played across to Alexis Sanchez, and I totally and completely believe that Alexis Sanchez was actually trying to score a goal. I believe it was a shot on goal, and looking at the first time, it looked like a shot on goal that had got blocked by a Colombian player and then fell to the feet of Arturo Vidal. And Arturo Vidal put it in the back of the net through the net of legs that were all the players inside of the box. David Ospina did not see it. The ball goes in. Everyone celebrates, but you can tell the referee gets the VAR call. Gets the VAR check call. He goes to look at VAR, and come to find out, the ball actually hit the hand of a Chilean player. It's one of those dumbass VAR handballs that get called. I think it's the dumbest shit in the world, because when a ball is flying at you that fast, you don't have the first thing that runs through your mind is, ooh, let me put my hand somewhere that this ball isn't. Your mind doesn't work that fast, but the body doesn't react that quickly, especially to a ball that you have no idea as to where it's coming from. It's one of those dumbass VAR rules again. And me personally, I believe there's a place for VAR if it's used properly at the right calls. But I just feel as though football is too fluid of a game for it to be used at every single incident within a football match. It's too fluid. This isn't American football. We have stops and starts and set plays that you can break down and look at. You're trying to take something that's completely and totally fluid and break it down frame by frame. If you take anything that fluid and break it down frame by frame, you can see what you want to see. You're basically looking at something in slow motion and telling somebody, interpret somebody's intentions from slow motion. Can you truly interpret somebody's intentions from something being slowed down frame by frame? In my humble opinion, I don't think so. I think they need to either readjust the laws or readjust the usage of VAR. But like I said, back to the match, man. Gets called handball, overturned by VAR. I also question Colombia's substitutions. And it's because, they pulled off Falcao. They pull off midfielders. And like I say, they bring on Zapata for Falcao, when I probably would have kept Falcao on and probably maybe switched to a 4-4-2, or just move Falcao to one of the side of the attacking three and put Duvan Zapata in the middle. Diaz in for Roger Martinez. Why would you take off Roger Martinez? He actually is one of your few strikers that can create his own shot, that can get a shot off. The person I would have probably pulled off, Tecillo, the left back, and probably went to and probably put on a left-sided attacker as that left back. But I guess Carlos Queiroz realized that he couldn't break down Chile and decided to play for the penalties. And that player, Tecillo, ended up hurting him, and he ended up losing on penalties. Like I said, the game finished 0-0 in regular time, but if it was not a boring match by far. Like I said in the first half, this is one of the matches I would love to show someone who says soccer is boring. I would show them this match and tell them, hey, check this out. This game finished 0-0, but it's probably one of the most exciting, physical, high-charge, up-tempo matches you'll ever see. Exactly what you expect to see in South American soccer. And that's what makes it fun. Like Bam said on We Made It podcast, that's what makes South American qualifiers so fun. Me personally, that's what makes Copa Libertadores fun. One of the most exciting matches of this entire calendar year. What did I say, calendar year? Yeah, I guess I would say calendar year. Was the Copa Libertadores final between arch rivals River Plate and Boca Juniors. That game finished 0-0 after full time, but the intensity, the drama, you could feel that on the pitch, and that's one of the things I love about South American soccer. South American soccer, you can feel it as a spectator, whether you're there in person or whether you're watching on TV. You feel the intensity. You feel them fighting for every single inch on the pitch, and it just inspires you. And it just makes you want to watch more. It inspires me to want to watch more, to learn more, so I can break down the technical and tactical nuances of the match. Even when I don't do reviews, I'm still, in my mind, I'm breaking it down tactically. Earlier today, Argentina beat Venezuela earlier. I didn't get a chance to see that match. I might go back home and watch it on my DVR. I know that Lautaro Martinez scored a goal, so shout out to him. He's one of the young players from Argentina that I really like, and I believe is going to blossom and grow as soon as Messi retires from the international game. But that's a whole nother match review, and we'll be done in due time. I thank you guys for listening. I appreciate every single view I get on YouTube. I appreciate every single comment, every single share, every single like. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I really thank you guys. And like I said in the first half, man, if you guys ever get a chance here on iTunes, please check out We Made It podcast. Follow those guys on Twitter. Follow those guys on Instagram. Follow those guys on Spotify. Any podcast listening platform out there, please check out We Made It podcast. Those guys were so cool that they even threw me on to a new podcast, and these guys are awesome as well. Tiki Talker podcast. That's Tiki Talker, Talka. Talker podcast. Check those guys out. Those guys are super cool as shit, and they're not on your prototypical boring English tea soccer bullshit, talking about things such as shithousery and the proper laws of the game. None of that shit. Just some cool ass people talking about the beautiful game. And like I said again, appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening, and can't wait to do another match review with you guys.